I'm finishing off a cartoon. This is one of a series of what I call headless cartoons, and the reason it gets the name Headless Cartoons is a series of pictures from a first-person perspective and then a third-person perspective. For those of you familiar with the gaming, so first-person perspective is very popular for kind of shoot-'em-up type games, and this one is going to be called the headless Anteater. So we've got the snout of the Anteater and the tongue there, and this is viewing the world, or in this case the group of ants, from the Anteater's perspective. So what I did initially was the outline. Let's just remove the colour layer. There you go, that's the outline, and I've put a colour layer on top of that. And now what I'm going to do is to wash in a background. This is based on a cartoon which I did about 5 years ago. This is the picture on the screen now, so I'm basically redrawing that one. So I've got another transparent layer on top, and I'm going to wash in some brown. Now the snout of the Anteater is already brown, so I don't want to go too dark, as I want it to stand out a bit. I'm going to take that down to a 10% opacity. I can always make it a bit stronger later, and I'm just washing over this brown layer. As it's a transparent layer, it doesn't matter if I go over any of the characters or any of the detail in the picture, because I can just erase it. Okay, and I'm just going to slow down a bit, because if I overlap the ants it'll be a bit fiddlier, so just trying to avoid going over them, and then it's less work to do tidying up later. I don't want to leave too much white on behind it. I think a few streaks are okay, but the thing is, with white it catches the eye, and I don't really want to take too much attention away from the idea of the picture or the characters in it. So I'm just going to take out a little more of the white. I don't want it to be too smooth, because I think it's just a bit boring if the picture's flat. Okay, that's pretty much what I was looking for. Just tidy up some of these edges a bit. Now, behind the ants I'm going to have a green background. This is still at 10%. I think I will make that a bit darker later, but in the meantime I'm just going to wash in the area and then see what I'm going to do with it. So with these headless cartoons, they're in a pair, as I mentioned, the first person perspective and the third person perspective. The idea being, you look at one first, you look at the first person perspective picture first, try and figure out what's going on, and then the second picture, which is from the third person perspective, that acts as the reveal. So what I will do later when I finish this one is do a third person, so you can actually see all of the Anteater and the rest of the scene. Okay, let's just fill in some of these areas. Now I think that does need to be a lot darker to help those ants stand out a bit more. First I'm just going to put in this leaf here. Now let's have a look. Okay, I'm going to make a duplicate of that and see if that helps it to stand out. Okay, now you'll see the snout of the Anteater is kind of merging into the background, so I'm going to duplicate that. And the ants, now move the outline layer to the front. Okay, now that's taking shape. Now there's still quite a bit of white around these ants. I'm going to smudge some of those away like so. So that's a quick way to take away some of those areas of white. Okay. I hope the look on these ants is startled enough, seeing as the fact that they're potentially on the dinner menu. Okay, and I'm going to, seeing as this is the layer I've been working with, I don't want to go back and work on the other layer of background colour, so I'm just duplicating that, and the earlier one I can just delete. Okay, now what I might do is just add a little bit of shadow around the ants. Let's see, fairly small brush, try 10%, 20% rather, with the black. And let's just see how this is going to work, whether it's going to merge too much with the ants themselves. We shall see. Working quickly, I've been, over the last year or so, I've been doing a cartoon course, working on all sorts of things, all sorts of techniques, and one of the things I've been consciously working on is trying to work a bit quicker. It just seems to, I end up with more flow in the pictures. I like the idea of working quicker as well. I have to concentrate as well a lot more to avoid, making mistakes and having to go back and correct things. And yeah, it's getting there. It's going to be an ongoing process, I think, to continue working quickly, slowly speed it up while, keeping a certain amount of quality in the drawings. So let's have a look. Now let's just set that. I'll just experiment and duplicate it to see whether I prefer that one or that one. I think that one. Okay. Now, with the tongue, that is, I've got a slight small problem there, because that is kind of transparent still, same as the snout, so you can kind of see through it to the background. So I want to make those a solid colour. So all I'm going to do is, I've got a new layer, and I'm just going to get a white brush, and all I'm doing is creating a solid background layer for the drawing of the snout and the tongue of the Anteater to fit on top of. So that way you won't be able to see through it to the floor that's underneath. Okay, so very quickly, just putting this in here. Alright, doesn't have to be that exact. So let's go back to move this one forward. Okay. And the outline as well. Okay. Alright, well, that's looking more or less how I wanted. All I have to do, there's a few areas of white that I'm maybe going to remove. What I'm just going to finish off now before I end this video is just to add a little detail. Oops. Just add in the eyes on the ants. All looking at the anteater. And then the rest of it I will finish off later. I think that is all of them. Okay, so for the time being, that is the headless anteater. Thank you for watching.